Hi, Taryn, Sydow here from Surrender to Your Soul. Really, this is a little bit of a video that I've just been inspired to create. There's been a couple of downloads happening for me and some inspirational ideas and thoughts coming forward from Spirit. And this message has been quite sort of divinely guided, and I just kept getting the message to a video about it. So here's the video. And so we'll see what happens as I'm talking about it. For those of you that know, this is my space, and this is one of my crystal grids behind me. And I work from home, and so you may hear my parrot, who always decides when I'm doing spiritual videos to get a little bit more expressive than normal. So please just integrate that into your surroundings. So the conversation today has been sparked around an idea about relating. And when we look at this concept of relate, the reality is we are constantly relating to everything around us. So if I am in a conversation with you, well then I'm relating to you, and the impact I have in the way that I relate to you forms a connection. And so this has been the stuff that has been dropping in, is that there's this interplay between the way I relate and the connection I form. And then the connection I form becomes the relationship I have. And so this becomes really, really useful when we start to look at things like the law of attraction and the law of abundance, is that I can now own the part that I play in the way that I relate, because that impacts the connection I have and therefore the relationships I create. Now, these relationships are in one way useful to think about relationships with people. So how I relate to you impacts the connection I create with you, and therefore impacts the relationship I have with you. But what's really, really, really powerful and useful is to start seeing how we relate to concepts and ideas and things and our past and our present and our future. And so when I say concepts and ideas or things, how I relate to time, how I relate to money, how I relate to love, how I relate to spirituality or religion or God, how I relate to my past, how I relate to certain expectations and memories and experiences in my mind, all of this is a relating. And that relating creates the connection to it. And that connection impacts the frequency with which I am resonating in the universe. And this frequency then impacts what I get back. If we viewed it as a bit like the infinity symbol between me and my outside world, is whatever I'm doing in relating to it forms the bond of connection. And so this starts to become quite powerful. And one of the reasons this has been so intrinsic in my thinking at the moment is because this weekend I'm running the first workshop around working with the law of abundance, and the workshop's called Healing Your Relationship with Money. And when I created that name, I'm often just guided from sorry about that noise, I think it's my neighbors. I'm guided to just put these words out there, and then these words start to form shape and take on tangibility as the information comes forward for the workshop. And so healing a relationship means I have to own how I relate to it. And when we start looking at how you relate to something, we can make it very practical. We relate to things in the way that we think about it, and the way we speak about it, and the way we feel about it. And then the things I do with it. And so this becomes quite a powerful thing, is that if I want to improve a relationship, well, then I can improve the way I relate to it, which will shift the connection I have with it. So I need to improve the way I think about it, the way I feel about it, the way I speak about it, and the things I do with it. And if we're talking very specifically about money, that's what would be the workshop that's happening this weekend, is really going into some beautiful reflections on these unconscious thoughts and ideas we have around something. And so that's really what this video is about, is provoking you into an awareness of what's something you wanted to improve your relationship with, or someone you wanted to improve your relationship with. And if you had to sit back and say, to improve my relationship, I have to shift the connection. And to shift the connection, I have to own how I relate to it. And you could do a little bit of a journaling exercise thinking about, well, what is the way I think about this? Is it in the positive or in the negative? Is it in the useful? Does it inspire a beautiful image in my mind when I'm thinking about it, or am I paranoid and worried about and fearful and anxious about it? And the universe doesn't understand the difference between want and not want. It doesn't understand the difference between desire and not desire. It just knows what the focus is on. And so what's the mental images that you create? What's the story in your mind? What's the way your belief system is attached to that person, thought, idea, or concept? When we come to how you feel about it, does it bring you to a sense of openness and expansive, a sense of faith and trust and grace? Or is there a part of you that's wanting to dominate and be in control of it? None of these things are right or wrong or good or bad. We're all human, and so we do these things. It's more about seeing it. So when we see something, it magically transforms all by itself. So when you're having a look at some of these things for yourself, just notice, just see it. You don't have to analyze it or judge it or do anything about it. You just see it and allow it to give you the messages it wants to give you. And then you can start asking yourself, what do I do with this? What's the action that I can take that would shift the way I relate to this? If you feel that money is something you would like to improve your relationship with, well, then there are a couple more spots for this weekend's workshop. It's going to be a whole lot of fun and powerfully healing, so you're more than welcome to join us. But otherwise, I hope that this inspires you to connect with your own ideas around relating and owning the way that you relate to the world, because that is where our power lies, and that is where we transform our life, the world, and everyone around us. So sending you that message of peace and love today. Hope it inspires you to connect with something meaningful for yourself, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.